How's it going, guys? Welcome to the first official video for Hoosier Heritage Hunting. Um, Keep it short and sweet. I'm Caleb, based here in southern Indiana, hence the name Hoosier. Um, and I'm just going to do a little introduction, go over a little bit who I am, a little bit of my history, and go over some of the equipment I use. And yeah, so just a short little history. I've only been hunting for 4 years. Uh, Hunting is a big uh, thing, to put it easily, around here. It is a very common family activity. Um, I just didn't grow up in. I grew up in a hunting family, but I just did not grow up in the enjoyment of hunting. So after my friend moved home in 2022, uh, me and him began hunting. My 2022 season, I only hunted the Indiana gun season. 2023, I dabbled a little bit with bow, and then primarily hunted the gun season. And 2024, I was my first full year of bow hunting, and then still gun hunted. And here, 2025 was my first successful year. So those first 3 years, I didn't harvest anything. I didn't actually even see a deer while hunting until 2023. I had 5 bucks that I seen, but never got a chance to draw back. Nothing. Never even had a chance to aim. So, uh, and then this year, a little different. So this year, I was able to harvest a doe and a buck. You guys may have seen the video or the short of the buck that I harvested this year. I know he's small. I do know that. It was my first time having a buck in range, no debris blocking me, nothing, able to get drawn back, everything. I wasn't passing up the chance. So I know he's small. I know he could have been the next monster around us, but it is what it is. Uh, but other than that, I'm gonna go over my main equipment, which is my bow here. Um, I purchased this bow in 2024. This is a Bear Species XT. They have the EV and the XT model. The only difference on the XT is it has a Picatinny uh, sight mount and a integrated rest option. Other than that, it is a 30-inch axle to axle. I shoot a 27-inch draw. I'm a short fellow, short draw gang. I have changed up a few things. I've added the Trophy Ridge Sync MD. I put a Trophy Ridge Fix 3 3-pin sight. It is a 20, 30, and 40 yard pins. And then I still have the regular Trophy Ridge 5-spot clipper. And then a switch away from the tube peep to a traditional peep. I believe that is a G5 peep. I want to say it's a 3/16 opening. Might be switching a bigger opening next year. Stock stabilizer and everything else. So the bow, like I said, is a 30-inch axle, 6 3/4 brace height. It is very forgiving. As you can see, it is a single cam. I know the bow shoots slower. It is advertised a IBO speed of 320 FPS, correct? I do have nose wrote here. Yes. And but I know it is much slower than that. It is a 80% let off with a 60-pound draw. Do the math on that. I don't know what the holding weight is off the top of my head. So other than that, that is pretty much everything about the bow. The only other thing is my release, which is a TrueFire Edge index release. I do prefer an index release. I've dabbled a little bit with a thumb release. not too big on them. But as you can see on the release, on the string stop bar here, on the stabilizer, actually have it on the rest instead of the felt. I have it on the riser here, and on the quiver, I have stealth strip. Um, when I was harvesting my doe this year, I had already shot at one, missed it, and when I went to go knock another arrow, and that little noise perked her up, and oh, what was that? Eventually let her calm down, was able to get an arrow knocked, everything went great. But that's when I invested in stealth strips. So nice little investment actually. Does help quiet things down. Next, I'm going to go over my arrows. So these arrows were new for me this year. I've always kind of just gotten arrows from Walmart. And then last year, I think the shop I went to set me up with Victory Gamer arrows. I don't remember exactly which Victory model, but they had spined me actually too low. They put me in a 400 spine. The first set of arrows I bought this year, I spined myself wrong, and then I learned my lesson. And then we ended up with these here. So this is the Serious Archery Products Supernova 2.0 in a 300 spine. They originally came fletched with a hybrid with a right offset. I had to refletch some arrows just due to cutting fletchings and everything. I don't always shoot broadheads, but while broadhead tuning happened, and I refletched them to the AE Max with a right helical. The reason for the helical is I am now shooting a Magnus single bevel broadhead. This is actually the exact arrow I had shot my buck with. Very, very impressed with the single bevels. I'm going to go over the front end here in a second. I do want to go over, I now shoot Halo Light and Nox. I like the easy on off. So far, I've had really good luck with them, and the only thing I'm not too big on is the little sleeve system to fit. This is a standard .246 arrow. These Nox are meant for .204. Other than that, not that big of a deal. So up front is the Serious 100 grain insert and outsert sleeve, and then I am shooting a 125 grain Magnus single bevel broadhead. I do really like the single bevel. I had a lot of luck with it on my buck harvest. I used a separate broadhead, which was one of these here, Black Hornet Razor 125 grain by Magnus. So I harvested my doe with this broadhead, harvested my buck with this broadhead. I am more of a fan of fixed blade. I know I haven't shot one with mechanical, but I'm always guaranteed to cut with a fixed blade because I do sharpen my broadheads. So they both are 125 grain. Total arrow weight, I'm at roughly 531 grains and 16% FOC. I don't know if it is the arrow weight, the FOC, or what. I know a lot of people don't believe in the heavy arrows or believe in FOC. I am kind of leaning towards believing it because my doe that I shot with the Black Hornet was a perfect double lung shot. She dropped within 40 yards, watched her drop in the field. My buck, as you guys seen, I shot him. I did not hit him very well. I kind of hit him back and high. I think I pulled the shot, or I was aiming in the wrong location, was just not thinking. And I hit him single lung liver. But he did drop within 80 yards in, I want to say it was 15 to 20 seconds. Watched him start crashing about 60 yards, crashed maybe it was probably more 70 yards and watched him crash the last 10 yards. And blood trail was very good with that single bevel broadhead. So I was very impressed with it this year. We'll continue using them. I think the only thing I might test next year would be the Evolution Outdoors Hide or Whitetail Fury broadheads. They are the hybrid fixed blade mechanical. I think I might test those next year. Other than that, these are 28-inch arrows, roughly moving at 224 FPS. I know they're slow, but I really don't have any shot further than 30 yards with anywhere that I hunt, so I'm not too upset with it. And with the single bevels, they're fairly quiet flying through the air. So that is the main gist. I mean, I do gun hunt, but I only use a basic Marlin 1894 30-30. It's nothing special. I think the ammo I use is like 170 grain soft point Winchester ammo. Nothing too special. So, to go over a few other things that I use for hunting, this year was my first year utilizing a bino harness. Before I knew that the binos that I was purchasing came with a bino harness, I had purchased this. That is the Cabela's Instinct. Inside I have Vortex Triumph 10x42 affordable binos. I know everybody has a different definition of affordable. For $100, these are affordable. Of course, I use dead downwind wind detector. I'll use any scentless wind detector. And then over here, I have my rangefinder, which is a Tidewee. I think it's HRF 700. It is a 700-yard rangefinder. I have found it to be fairly accurate. I have tested it in calibrated regions, places that I've actually fully measured, physical measure, and compared it to other rangefinders, and it comes up pretty accurate. So I've been very happy with it. So that was my first year using this. Nothing too special about it. This year I also utilized some scents, which are here. These are Van Meter and Son lures, based out of Marengo, Indiana-based company. Was very impressed utilizing them. They did seem to help quite a bit. And they have a lot of harvest stories from a lot of hunters this year. This year I did try out the Woodhaven Custom Calls Whitetail Ninja. Was pretty impressed with this. It's a very good grunt call. I like that it's grunt only. And then the snort wheeze is fairly loud, fairly consistent. Not fairly, it is very consistent. I'm the one who messes it up. This one, I don't know the brand name, but it is the Extractor. It is a doe, buck, and fawn call. I like utilizing this one occasionally, kind of switch back and forth. Sometimes I'll use two different buck calls. Make it sound like there's two different bucks grunting at each other. I don't know if it works. I'm 4 years in. I'm still learning. And then occasionally I will use the Primos doe bleat can. Other than that, I do utilize the Black Rack rattling antlers, and I have a Primos battle rack bag. As a rattle bag. Little disappointed in its performance. I think I'm gonna kind of switch primarily to the Black Rack. So all in all, that is pretty much everything about me, everything about my setup. And then just a few other things. As you can tell, I do have a slight preferred camo pattern, which is the True Timber Strata camo. I don't mind it. It does fit fairly well in this region, and it is a little more affordable. Kind of balling on a budget here, uh, but it does work fairly well around here. I also really like Mossy Oak Bottomland. You cannot go wrong with Bottomland camo. I do want to get a little bit of tree bark camo also. Uh, that stuff's just hard to find sometimes. I also started using uh, the Natural Gear, their camo pattern pants. I do like their stuff. Might get a little bit more of theirs. My pants are in here. I'm just not gonna drag them out. And then whenever it comes to ground blinds and box blinds, because at my friend's property we have a box blind. He is partially handicapped with his back. He has a lot of back issues. So for box blinds, ground blinds, I do utilize Ranger Green and Black. That is what I prefer for it. Um, Other than that, this channel is just for to watch me progress and to show others. Go out and learn. I'm primarily self-taught. I've learned from family. I've learned from friends. I've learned from coworkers. Just get out there. If you're interested in it, try it. I know it's an investment. I have plenty of money invested into all my stuff. If you enjoy it, so be it. So I just want to be able to help others, jump that rope and get in there. And then but hopefully I will have some more videos come to you guys. Other than that, I will see y'all later.